It says that another report showed wholesale prices dropped more than forecast, giving the Federal Reserve more time to foster and sustain a recovery before concern over inflation surfaces. Bob?
Hold on one second. In May 2009, we had figures from the AP, unadjusted year-over-year. Commerce Department building permits fell 37%, and housing starts fell 36%. I didn't see that anywhere.
Is there a truth in Lending Act that pertains to people that write stories? No?
No.
Okay.
Oh, look, you had... they bring Abby Joseph Cohen out last...
Oh, the other day... I'm sorry to interrupt you, Robbie,
no.
But I almost barfed. Continue, please.
Well, yesterday they bring out Elliott from Elliott Wave Theory, who is pretty much saying the same thing that Abby Joseph Cohen said, and that the dollar will strengthen from here on out.
Okay, now let me in.
Yes.
Abby Joseph Cohen had been wrong about the market for 6 years, and they kind of put her aside over there at Goldman, and you didn't see her. And then all of a sudden the market rallied back here, and you see her again, because every call she made is wrong. The Yellow Wave, which is Robert Pechter, has made one major good call in 35 years.
Yeah, that was in 87.
That's correct. Otherwise, he's been a loser. And every time he says gold and silver going down, he gets it smushed right into his musher.
Well, I mean, doesn't he even look at his own Elliott Wave Theory?
Obviously not.
Yeah, unless you have to question whether or not that's a legitimate model to use any longer. Because obviously he's getting his dollar strength story from what his charts are telling him, unless he's just abandoned his charting theory.
Well, look, you know what? I want to tell you something. I lived in Switzerland and for several years, and I used to go over to Devion, which is over in France, and there's a big casino there. And I didn't have much to do, and I wasn't much of a gambler, so I would stand around and I'd watch these guys, and they were college professors, very learned people, and they would be figuring their formula for guessing what numbers or what colors were going to come up on the roulette wheel. And so every time they did it, they would lose. Well, this is the same thing which wavists, chartists, and cyclists are doing. It's a game, and it's random. And history has no precedent, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And so they can almost never be right.
This is a problem. Bob, explain something to me, because this is a problem I have with technical analysis. And correct me if I'm wrong, a large majority of professional traders obviously use technical analysis for making their decisions. But it has to be telling the same story all the time. So
to everybody who's watching.
Yeah. So they do the same things. Whether it's motivated by a 50-day moving average or a 200-day moving, whatever the case may be, if they're all following the same pattern, they're all making the same mistakes.
And that's why contrarians win.
We'll take the break here. We already have callers lining up. Bob, did you put out in your newsletter, the world is ending this weekend?
No. I'll get into that later, but nothing like that.
Okay, hold on. We've got to take this break. We'll be right back. Robbie, did you know that the nice folks up at KTAE 1330 AM is carrying this broadcast as well as yours?
Yes, sir. I'm familiar with that, and I thank the management profusely from the bottom of my heart.
And again, folks, we ask you, wherever you're getting your information, I can hear 1330 down here in Round Rock. But to the people listening to this program today, do you know how lucky you are, and not from an egotistical standpoint, but that you have management that cares to put out information that's beneficial to you? So please support their advertisers to their radio station. That is going to be greatly appreciated. Let's go to the phones here. Paul in Arizona. Thanks for holding, Paul. Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Yes, this is a request for Mr. Chapman. Sir, recently Catherine Austin Fitts published an article pertaining to this 500 million population. And this number keeps coming up, Georgia Guidestones, and you name it. She even said that she gave some figures to some colleagues on Wall Street, and they were coming up with a 500 million world population as well. Now, I was wondering, sir, I didn't get my invitation to be part of this 500 million, and I doubt you guys got your RSVP. I was wondering if you could find out what this magical formula is. Could you show us the math in one of your issues of the International Forecaster? That was my request.
I would if I could, because I don't know anything about it.
Oh, okay.
And that just goes to show you that I don't know everything.
Well, no, I'm just saying, sir, if sometime if you happen to run into it, could you show us the math if you ever get the chance?
I surely will. I surely will, but I haven't seen anything along those lines. Actually, it's totally new to me. Rob, have you heard anything like that?
No, sir. Outside of many varying stories about population control.
Well, if you're if you go to Solari.com, Catherine Austin Fitts' website, her article, Swine Flu and What I Think, she goes into basically her opinion, and that's where she came up with this. She somehow calculated 500 million as well. I always thought this number was just something they pulled out of their derriere, but apparently there is a formula, and I am just curious, what is it that makes them calculate this 500 million? But anyway, that was my request, sir. If you ever get the chance, if you could please publish it in your newsletter. Thank you very much.
I will, and I will look into it.
Thank you, Paul. Dave in Canada. Hello, Dave.
For you tonight, and thank you for taking my call.
Yes,
Why
sir.
would you start off, John, in health care up in Canada? Come on now.
Why?
We just went through a $60 million fiasco in Ontario where they were supposed to look after this health care and nothing was done. No investigation. Everybody's hiding under the rocks and everything's going to blow away. Mind you, I honestly don't use the health care, but what parts of my family have, we've received terrific health care up in Canada, but I'm not one to run to the doctor for broken bones or compound fractures or cuts or anything else.
Well, no, the gist of it was that he wanted to know, because he enjoys listening to the program, but every time I talk about Canada healthcare, which I really don't talk that much about, except to say that it's not a healthcare that people want here in the United States, a system that's even remotely close to it. Because to me, when I look at this, it invites more government bureaucracy, mismanagement, just like they did with Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and the so-called safety nets.
Exactly, and that's what the $60 million fiasco, of course.
Yeah.
It's all government and everything else of that sort. Now, where we are lacking are on doctors in the rural area. And, we're only 34 million, 35 million up here in Canada, and it's a vast country. And we need doctors in the rural area, no doubt.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Does Canada have the same litigious society as America? In other words, do lawyers pretty much run the healthcare system over there?
Well, I'll tell you.
Because they run it, yeah.
I know. No, not. I would say out of 100%, about 10% up in Canada. Okay, the lawyers have.
I mean, if you get rear-ended, do Canadians see it as a lottery? They just won the lottery.
No, because they're restricted by their insurance policies and on our insurance on the cars and stuff of that sort. And basically, if you get rear-ended, the insurance company will pay to have specialty, like special doctors and special applications like back injuries and stuff of that sort, and you follow through that for reconditioning and get you back into the workplace. Now, where there really is a scam